Hey, Geeks Movie Page, Geeks and Gamers. It's Michael. I've had a real busy weekend. I've had a lot of things to take care of, but I want to sit down and take some time to talk about a current event that kind of like threw my life in perspective. Now, I know it's not easy getting over celebrity death, especially one whether it's a singer, a actor, filmmaker, sports figure, what have you, that basically made, that's influenced you. And tonight I wanted to talk about Chris Cornell. I know I'm a couple days late, but again, busy weekend, sue me. Chris Cornell has done a lot. I'm not gonna, he's been known as one of the founding fathers of grunge metal. Whether it was Eddie Vedder, him, Kurt Cobain, a lot of the boys from Seattle. He was there with, the fact that he had done several bands with. There was Soundgarden, and then there was Temple the Dog, and then of course he's done solo, and then of course Audio Slave, which is my favorite band that he was in was Audio Slave, and then finally he did solo again, and then he just did his own beat. I just remember the first time I ever heard of him was the song Bad Motor Funker. It had like this awesome guitar and beat riff like dun 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 doo 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 doo. And then he did Spoon Man, watch me as I take your hand, Spoon Man. And then of course there was Rusty Cage. I'm on my way, I'm a Rusty Cage run. I haven't heard that song in a while, so forgive me, Rusty. And then of course there was Black Hole Sun, won't you come, wash away the rain, Black Hole Sun. I'll stop. He did those songs, and then he was with the band Temple of the Dog with Hunger Strike. My buddy Rob loves that song. I just remember the whole chorus, I'm on a hunger. And then he had, then of course he did his own thing, and then Audio Slave came out. And the moment I heard Cochise, I was just in love. Just a badass Tom Morello guitar riff, the whole, just him ripping the hell out of it. And then of course, Tim Copeland would do the bass line, and then the drums would come in. The next, and I remember they used it in movies and TV shows, which is mostly what I want to talk about. Chris Cornell's music in movies, TV shows, and medium. And of course, I just remember when they played Audio Slave in the Iron Man trailer, the whole on May 2nd, heroes aren't made. So, hey, calm down. Sorry, new co-host. So there was that. So that was happening. Then of course, several other songs they did. They did Like a Stone, which I liked it. It was okay. It's just that when the radio played it too many times, it was kind of like, oh, that's enough, Before there was Uptown Funk that got played several times. There was Like a Stone, and then of course there was Show Me How to Live, which I thought was a really badass song too. So I was like, okay. And then I bought the album, and then it had this song called Set It Off, which I thought was badass, because in the beginning they just had like Tom Morello shredding his guitar, and it was just awesome. I can't describe it, it was just awesome. And then I saw a movie called, I listened to the album, there was Eye on the Highway, which is one of the deepest songs they've ever did. And then after that, I stopped listening to it, because I bought it and I stopped listening to it. And then in 2004, I went to go see a movie called Collateral. That starred Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, and it was directed by Michael Mann. And it was like one of the first ever movies that they used an HD camera throughout the whole thing, which is why it had that weird, realistic look. And I just remember in one scene when Tom Cruise's character Vincent and Max, Jamie Foxx, the driver, are about to drive all the way to a Korean nightclub to take out this big fat boss man, who was number 4 on Vincent's list. Vincent's like, I got 5 people to kill this guy, and then that's it. So they're on their way to do this, and why were they doing this? They see this coyote cross the middle of the street, and they were just like shocked. And the next thing you hear this lovely little guitar riff. Once upon a time, I was of the mind to lay your burden down, leave you where you should. You believed you could, and never said how. I could read your thoughts and tell you what you thought. And I forgot the lyrics, but I just know it had this badass chorus line, and I have that song still on my phone to this day. And it was just awesome. I was like, just hearing it at first, not knowing the song, I was like, wait a minute. That sounds like Audio Slave. And to my surprise, it was Audio Slave, Shadow on the Sun. That ended up becoming like my favorite, that became my favorite song after a self-titled album. Of course, Cochise is still number one, but they tied Cochise, and depending on my mood. I thought that was awesome. And then they brought up a second album. It came out in, I think it was 2005 or 2006. They just had like songs like the original Fire, and then of course it had a song called You Know My Name, which they performed on the roof of the Letterman show. And then finally, they also did Be Yourself. Be Yourself was used for the WWE, which I thought was cool, but after that, he left Audio Slave, and then he ended up being asked to do something which I thought was cool. Would you do a theme song to the new James Bond reboot, Casino Royale? And he did. I went to go see it on Thanksgiving. Because I never heard of the song before. I think I heard it like maybe once, but that was it because the radio wouldn't play it. And so finally, I go see the movie with my friend Yolanda. We go to her house for Thanksgiving, and then it's me, her, and her husband. We go see Casino Royale. And then, you know, if you take a life, do you know what you take? I'll tell you in life what it is. And it was just this awesome song that like conveys like, what is James Bond? You know, how does he feel? You know, the fact that he goes from being just a cold-blooded hitman to now being a 007 status agent. The fact that he just did 2 kills is some assassin, and of course the guy that M told him to kill. And so when it was all said and done, you basically just see that, you know, Bond is now going to become, you know, more deadly than ever. And the fact that now he's a 007 agent, it's like, well, what does he do now? And I just remember, you know, the opening credits, it just says, James Bond, 007 status confirmed. And then, of course, the song ends, you know, the coldest blood runs through my veins. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. And then it just cuts to Daniel Craig with the handgun and the suit and tie, and then him just looking at the screen. It's just like, okay, he's James Bond, but not yet. So there was that. And then, of course, he had done some cover songs. He did a cover of Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, somber version, which I thought was cool, very nice. And then he also did a cover of Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You. Even though Prince wrote it, but Sinead O'Connor sang it, and he did a cover, which I thought was nice. And then I didn't hear anything from him for a while. I mean, they mentioned him on some VH1 show that he lived in this high loft building, the same building that had some other person in Lindsay Lohan. I'm thinking, oh great, you had to shoehorn in Lindsay friggin' Lohan, whatever. And then after that, he did a song for the movie Machine Gun Preacher, which a lot of people didn't see because it was an independent movie and relatively media didn't promote it. And it's just basically, it's based on a true story, but most people just thought, oh, it's just Gerard Butler in Africa with a machine gun fighting these Sudanese rebels and trying to save people. I saw the movie a couple years ago, and I actually thought, I forgot he did the theme song to it, but I thought it was fantastic, and it was a great movie, and it was underrated. And I thought it was fantastic. He got nominated for Best Original Song from the Golden Globes because of that. Of course, the Oscars was Kissing. Of course, that wasn't the darling that it once was, and apparently all the Oscar voters were kissing the artist's ass. That movie stunk. Anyways, enough of that. And then a year later, he would reform a Soundgarden, and they would do the soundtrack to a movie I was dying to see. And I didn't even know at the time they had just got back to do this, but they were going to go back on tour again, and, well, let's just say they did this movie. They did the first ever Avengers movie, and I remember I saw the opening day in IMAX 3D, and then I saw it again 3 days later in standard, but still, I just saw both of them, and I was just like, wait a minute, that sounds like Chris Cornell. Is that Audio Slave? And then I found out it was Soundgarden. I was like, oh, but still, I thought it was fantastic. They got to do the theme song to the Avengers. They didn't get to come back for part 2, which I kind of thought sucked, but still. the thing is, Chris had a distinct voice, so you could tell what he's saying. And to me, like I said, yeah, a lot of his songs were used in TV shows and video games and movies, mostly trailers. I remember Coach East, they used it for TV commercials. They used it for they used it for the Iron Man trailer. They used it for they played it in Talladega Nights when Ricky had grown up to be a NASCAR pit crew, but the problem was he was shadowing some idiot who didn't care. So then obviously he jumps in and he ends up becoming the NASCAR. That's what starts his NASCAR career. Shadow on the Sun, of course, is from Collateral. And Michael Mann used another one of their songs from Miami Vice. Two of them, Things to Come, and I forget the second one, but they used it, and it was kind of like the love thing between Sonny Crockett and Isabella, Colin Farrell and Don Lee's characters. And the second one they used was in a scene where Sonny and Isabella have a quick shag in the limo, and then basically she just says, "Hola, chico." Hola, chica. And that was it. But there was that. Trying to think what else. Black Hole Sun's been used several TV shows and movies, and it was even lampooned on a Saturday Night Live episode where I forget, Bobby and Marty Cole, the Wilfo and Gastar singers, they ended up singing it once, so that was cool. Spoon Man was used several times. Rusty Cage was using an episode of CSI, but it wasn't Chris Cornell's version, it was the Johnny Cash cover, but still, Chris wrote that song, so that counts. I'm trying to think. Jon Favreau used another one of his Audio Slave songs for Cowboys and Aliens, Gasoline, which I thought was nice. Show Me How to Live was used for the CBS short-lived show called Smith. They used it to promote it, which is why I ended up watching it. I just was like, yeah, man, like me, all my hate heart, take me the life now, show me how to live. And they would just promote it like Ray Liotta's Smith this fall on CBS, which only lasted like 3 episodes, so they ended up canceling it. Trying to think what else. Be Yourself was used for the WWE's Diva Search, and I can't remember. I think Original Fire was used for a video game or like a Red Bull commercial, and then Your Time Has Come was used in several ESPN commercials and NBA Finals, I think, something like that. What else? He did an original song for Machine Gun Preacher, and then of course the Bond theme, which he'll be now known as doing the Bond Echelon, which I thought, out of the Daniel Craig movies, he did the best Bond theme. I mean, I know everybody's kissing Adele's butt because of When the Sky Falls. I'm like, oh god, that sucked. And then of course there was the Sam Smith, who recently won an Oscar and bragged about being the first openly gay man to win an Oscar. I'm like, no you're not, dude. Ian McKellen is, so sit down and shut up. Still, the way I look at it, Chris Cornell, Alicia Keys, and Jack White, Sam Smith, and Adele. That's basically in order of how, the Bond themes are. And then, of course, there was Live to Rise. But, like I said, and of course, Rusty Cage was using Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But Chris was he had one of the political career. I remember I just saw a photo of him when he had like the long hair and the beard, and somebody called him a rock star Jesus, which I thought was funny. And then he had the short hair and the goatee. But everybody said, a lot of women I've talked to said it wasn't just his voice, it was his eyes. He had like those smoldering eyes. I'm like, hey, you go, girls. But to me, I think, I don't want to talk about how he died or anything like that. That's not what I wanted to talk about. I just want to talk about his music and the public, what was used in whether it was movie, video games, TV shows, what have you. So there was that. So I just want to say that rest in peace, Chris Cornell, and thanks to you, I now have the Audio Slave album on Google Play. So the first one, my favorite one. So thanks. Thank you, Geeks and Gamers, and thank you, Geeks Movie Page. Night.